Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. I am the same makeup, same shirt I've been wearing in a bunch of videos because I am doing some filming today. And mostly I wanted to do a couple of ERs that have been on my list for a bit to do. So today I'm going to be responding to the Tarot Tribe tag that V over at V Love and Crystals created. I will link her original video and her channel information down below for you. I may also have her original video up in the cards if I think about that. But I really wanted to do this one. It was a fun way just to get to know some other people in the tarot community. I found some channels through this tag. I thought it was a really good idea. I'm just gonna fix my camera because I feel, there we go, that's better. I didn't pre-prep other than I quickly scanned for any questions where it was about showing decks and I grabbed those, but I haven't really prepared, so if this is a little babbly, I apologize, but as you all know, this is the Babble Zone, and that's just what we do here. So first, how did you get into tarot or oracle? So for me, what happened was I was circling with a local pagan group. I was making some pagan friends. I was really enjoying exploring my spirituality that way, and divination and tarot was just a core part of that community. And the first time I had a personal tarot reading from a friend, it completely blew my mind, and it's a reading that I've thought about many times over the years because it predicted some very big life milestones in like the 10 to 15 years that followed the reading. It was a very long term, I don't think it was even intended to be, but it really, really touched me. And the person who gave me that reading became a good friend, and we played music together for a bit, and she died way too young. And it's one of those things that just really has stuck with me throughout my life. She used the Journey Tarot, which to this day is not a deck I understand or am drawn to in any way, but the reading she gave me was so powerful. And I remember sitting there thinking, there's no way I could ever do this. Like what she just did, there's no way I could ever do this. And I also remember being incredibly resistant to the reading because one of the things that she brought up was that my then relationship was not was not going to be lasting. And I was very resistant to that idea at the time, and she predicted who I would meet after, and like it was crazy to me. It was so crazy, very predictive, very powerful, and she had nothing to gain or lose with this reading, right? So it was very raw and authentic and potent and juicy and just really good. And not long after that, we started having sort of like divination gatherings, and I might be getting the order out of order because I was also like 19. But we would have get-togethers and do divination type stuff together. So I picked up my first deck. I tried to play with like Rider-Waite-Smith kind of decks, and none of them spoke to me. They just felt kind of boring and I didn't get it. It didn't inspire me in any way. And then I found the Osho Zen Tarot, and this one really did speak to me. I don't know if it was the vividness of the colors, if it was, yeah, oh, is this the next prompt? No. Well, I'll show you the Osho Zen Tarot in a bit. But anyway, that's how I got into tarot. We'll talk about that in a couple prompts because I got ahead of myself. Prompt number 2, are you drawn to tarot or oracle? Yes. I primarily am drawn to tarot for the structure as the foundation of any divination work that I do, or any magical work I do these days, it seems like. But I thoroughly love and enjoy oracle decks, especially ones that inspire my intuition, that really let me tap into things that I wouldn't otherwise think. On a day-to-day basis, I use oracle decks to support my tarot readings, but there are certain oracle decks that are my go-tos for certain types of things. Like in front of me, I have several potent oracle decks because I have several like sort of tarot and oracle kind of alter-y things that I do. So I have Julie's Cup of Contemplation cards here because I draw a fresh one every couple of days and I keep it on display, and it just gives me something to think about. If you haven't seen these, they are incredible. Just questions, prompts for thought, wonderful, like as journal prompts, that sort of thing. I have, above me, I have the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, which I've been using for shadow work and for sort of deep contemplation. I have the Dark Goddess Tarot, which I also use in that way. Okay, that's a tarot. I have a rune deck nearby. I have the Divine Feminine Oracle that I work with during my moon time. I have lots of things near me. I like anything that just helps me to tap into my deep truth, and all of these tools and decks help me to do that, help me to tap into a slightly different part of myself, and I just love that. The next prompt is, if you could create your own deck, what would it be? Oh, y'all know it would be a self-worth deck. And it's gonna happen someday. Like, I'm gonna find the perfect artist and we're gonna collaborate and we're gonna make a deck that is perhaps even based on my book about self-worth or something. Like, I feel like that's something that needs to happen someday. I just need to find an artist that would want to collaborate on a project like that, and where we would have a shared vision of how it would be a helpful and supportive tool. I would want it to feel somewhat, not new, because tarot is, I don't think at this point anything's really truly new, but I'd want it to bring something extra. And I think that's what any creator wants if they're going to create something. That's what I would want to do. But one thing at a time, because book first, and that's happening super soon. So that's my immediate focus. But yeah, it would definitely be self-worth based. It would have a lot of body diversity, age diversity, that would be important to me, and would depict things like self-care and self-love and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, someday that's gonna happen. Let's see. Show us your first deck, whether it's Oracle, Tarot, or one of each. I've got one of each because I couldn't help myself. So I talked about the Osho Zen Tarot. This is what the backs look like. My copy is trimmed and edged. I've had it since I was 19. So it's been, excuse me, it's been kicking around for a bit. There's controversy about the creator. To be honest, this is just pieces of paper, and I happen to love the way that they read, and the meanings that I have worked with for decades actually come from the artist Mahadeva Padma. The actual Osho quotes in the book I never really worked with that much. I did work with the actual card descriptions, and Mahadeva Padma's artwork is absolutely beautiful. This does follow Rider-Waite-Smith pretty much. It goes its own way in a few places, and the sword suit is particularly kind of dark and shadowy because, of course, in a more Buddhist mindset, the mind can be something you're trying to sort of it presents a lot of difficulty. But then again, our sword suit also tends to be a little bit on the shadowy side in the Rider-Waite-Smith, so I just find that to be especially true in this deck. But I absolutely love this. It helped me get out of my own way when it came to learning to read cards, period. I will say that a lot of people will consider this something between a tarot and oracle deck. I don't. I feel like it has the structure of the tarot, and I think it follows the archetypes of the tarot, and some of the images, like Courage for Strength, which shows the flower that's worked its way through all of its obstacles to finally bloom, like, it's very potent. The Daydream for the Six of Cups, or the Six of Water, there is so much here. Guilt for the Eight of Swords, or Eight of Air in this deck. I mean, there's so much goodness here, and I just think it's really a powerful, useful deck, and it's always going to be, to some degree or another, my home deck. If I ever just need, I mean, so many decks now feel that way, and I don't reach for this very often at all anymore, but this was pretty much the exclusive deck I worked with for a good, I want to say 12 to 15 years, possibly a little longer, but this one is my baby. So yeah, I do have a backup only because when I first got this deck, I pitched the guidebook. I think I may have told you guys that on the channel before. I'm sure I have. I threw it away because I read it through once, and then I wanted to just learn to trust myself and my intuition, because that's what I found so fascinating about getting my own reading or readings, is that the reader seemed to trust themselves. They didn't refer to the book, and so I set that as a goal. And then later I missed it because there were some wonderful parables and stories in the book, so I repurchased a gently used copy so that I could have the book, and now I have a backup set of cards as a result. So yeah. But I don't work with the master card that came with the deck. I threw it away. That card depicted Osho, and I just felt like that was weird, and that wasn't part of the original tarot, so I just don't work with that, never have worked with that. And I'm very much a fan of, like, be your own guru kind of stuff. So anybody who sort of puts themselves in that position, I tend to sort of immediately have a little bit of a like, I don't know kind of reaction to that. So anyway, that was my first tarot. My first oracle deck was Brian Froud's The Fairies Oracle. I need to spend time with this deck again because I've actually had I used to read with it just with the guidebook. Oh, we have some upside down cards. How though? Oh yeah, they're all mixed up. Well, whatever. I'm just gonna go with it. Some of these are gonna be upside down. But this is a really, really powerful deck. I struggle with the script that's written on the cards, like with actually reading it, which makes it a little tricky when I want to look things up, but they do have numbers on the cards. I also do have Brian Froud's Heart of Fairy Oracle, which I kind of like a little better, but I haven't worked with this one in a long time. I need to spend some quality time with these though, because I think my time with them may feel a little different these days, and I do think I might want to work with this deck or the Heart of Fairy or both alongside the Tarot of the She when I work with that one. So we'll see. But that was my first ever Oracle. Did give some really, really good readings with it, but really rely on the guidebook for sure for this one. So beautiful deck though. And a recent, oh no, we're not there yet. Recent stuff. Let's talk about recent stuff. I think that's the next prompt. Yes. Show us your recent Oracle, Tarot, and Crystal. So I picked up, or was given, the Bix Tarot at the Northwest Tarot Symposium. So this is, I haven't done my walkthrough of this yet. Maybe I'll film it later today. We'll see. We'll see how much filming I get done. But this is really cute. It's like this adorable character. And what's cool about this is that you have, I think, some nods to the Rider-Waite-Smith lingering in the background. Look at this giant pomegranate behind the High Priestess. Yeah, maybe not, actually. I thought there was some, like, painted scenes, kind of. I don't know, actually. I like this Nine of Cups. This is great. So I haven't worked with this yet. It's also, like, kind of a little mini deck. It's not, like, a full-size deck. It looks really fun. So I'm kind of excited to play with it, but I'm working with Marseille decks right now, so I haven't worked with it yet. It comes in a really nice little 2-part box. I think this is technically Lo Scarabeo, distributed by Llewellyn. I don't know how that relationship works, but I think that's what the deal is there. Yeah, the Bix Tarot. So that's one of my most recent acquisitions. I also got a copy recently of the Practical Magic Inner Witch Oracle by Grounded by the Moon. This is coming back onto Kickstarter soon, if it's not already, because I don't know when this video is going up. But this one I got at an event I went to that there was some trading happening. But I think this is really, really cool. And somebody actually asked me recently, so I'm going to show it, if there were margaritas in this deck. So this is based on the movie Practical Magic, and there are definitely margaritas in here. I'm sure of it. Let me just find them. It just seems like everything to do, like the phone tree, everything to do with the movie is in here. Midnight Margaritas, there it is. And the keyword for that is truth coming to light, which is so appropriate. The keywords in here and the symbols just make so much sense if you have watched that movie. If you're into that movie, I think it's super great. So I'm excited to have it. It's, if nothing else, it's just some really wonderful nostalgia. Grounding and survival for the earth element. State of mind for the air element. Blood bond connections. Oh, just love it. So yeah, I'm super stoked to have that. I haven't played with it yet, but that is new to me. And another deck, and then the most recent crystal that I'm excited about. Okay, so first of all, there was a malachite debacle. So I showed a malachite. I don't know when this video is going up, so you might already know this story. I showed a malachite sphere I got it from a vendor at Newt's in my Newt's recap video, which I will link up there. It was fake malachite, so thank you so much to the beautiful Jessie, who commented on my video and was like, that's fake, and then had a lot of back and forth dialogue with me behind the scenes. I ended up looking it up. It was a piece of fake malachite. It was totally a counterfeit stone. It's not even a real stone. It literally lit on fire. Peggy and I have talked about maybe doing that as a demonstration to show you guys what fake malachite does under heat, because it's creepy. But anyway, that was very, very disappointing, and I contacted the vendor, and the best she would do was a 50% refund, which seriously sucked and was very disappointing. But it's what it is, and now I know not to buy from that person again. But anyway, I did get a really, really gorgeous, and I haven't worked with him yet at the time I'm filming this, but this is a Crazy Lace agate skull. Now, I've since learned from Jessie Driscoll, who, by the way, Jessie Driscoll is the creator of the Crystal Skull Tarot. I'm going to try to get this VR up actually soon, because she created a beautiful deck called the Crystal Skull Tarot, which I just mentioned. It is on Kickstarter now. I think it's at about 60 or 70% funded. It's still got a little bit of time left, but her knowledge about crystals is outstanding. She's the one who helped me about the malachite, and anyway, he is like crazy. Did I tell you already he's crazy this agate? God, I'm so distractible. Anyway, Jessie mentioned that different skulls have different kinds of faces. So some of them can look really benevolent and gentle and kind, and this one I think she said looks a little more primitive in a way, and then some can look a little bit intense or almost angry looking. I was just so drawn to this particular piece. Again, I haven't done any work with it, but there's something about it that just feels really potent. I've been kind of obsessing about wanting a skull for a long time. There's just something about them that just feels like it gives them some personality, the crystal some personality, or maybe it's the other way around, I don't know, but excited to have it and play with it. But I will report back once I've actually meditated with it, done some work with it, but this was the one that wanted to come home with me. So this is the one that came home with me. I haven't named it yet. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. I don't know how any of that works. If you have feedback on crystal skulls and your experience with them, let me know down below. I'm super curious because, yeah, I don't know what my draw is, and I like this one's face. I like it. Anyway, okay. What is the next prompt? Because, whoo, I told you I was gonna babble. First tarot tubers. Oh no, if you could share a tip with someone learning tarot for the first time, what would it be? Don't be afraid to work with the book. There is no shame in working with the book. See my Tarot by the Book series. I love working with guidebooks, even having worked with tarot for 20 plus years. Don't be afraid of the book. The book is awesome. And the book also is great with any deck you choose because it will give you the perspective of the artist, of the creator of the deck, or both. And it will inform your knowledge of the tarot, especially if you work with more than one deck because you're really excited to have more than one and you read different guidebooks and you get different perspectives. They'll start to layer and you'll kind of get this bit of encyclopedic almost knowledge of every single card because you'll have all these different perspectives you've read. Okay, maybe that's not the best tip ever for someone new to tarot. Just don't be afraid of the book is the first thing. And the second thing, almost anyone will tell you, including me, that starting with the classic Rider-Waite-Smith is good because it's like your basic beginner deck. It's what a lot of decks are based on, especially most of the decks we see today, are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith. The Bix Tarot is, the Osho Zen Tarot is. That being said, if it doesn't excite you to pull it out and play with it, you're probably not going to pull it out and play with it, and then you're not going to learn the tarot. So lots of great beginner decks are out there. This Might Hurt by Isabella Rotman, the Wizard's Tarot, or really the Mystic Fairy Tarot, or any of the tarot by Barbara Moore are very beginner friendly. The Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson is very beginner friendly. There's lots of great Rider-Waite-Smith based decks that are incredibly beginner friendly. Get one that comes with a full-size guidebook though if you can. This Might Hurt doesn't come with a full-size guidebook, but the guidebook it does come with is very comprehensive, so I would say that still works. But if you get a slightly bigger guidebook with it, it's going to cover a lot of the basics, like maybe how you work with the cards, whether or not to work with reversals. It'll give you some perspective on a little bit of history of the tarot. Might not be always the most accurate thing, but I think Barbara Moore's all are. You'll get a little bit of everything in a deck set that comes with a nice sized guidebook, but it'll also be very approachable and beginner friendly. So that's what I would say. Start with the deck that excites you, but that has a good guidebook, and don't be afraid of the book. I know that's many tips, but that's what I have to say about that. If you don't mind the artwork in the Rider-Waite-Smith, get you a Rider-Waite-Smith classic, one of them. The Centennial is really beautiful. Some people love the Radiant Rider-Waite, and some people like the Radiant Wise Spirit Rider-Waite. That one doesn't come with a good guidebook as far as I remember though. But then get yourself a good guidebook. Get Kitchen Table Tarot or WTF is Tarot. Okay, this is many tips. Apparently I need to make a whole video about this. I'll make a whole video about this at some point. I'll add it to my list. But I'm going to move on to the next prompt now because otherwise I'm not going to stop talking about that. First tarot tubers you followed. The very first people I followed here on YouTube would be Donna Lee of Tarot Tribe Beyond Worlds, who's actually more of a Lenormand content creator, but it was actually Lenormand and looking up Lenormand videos that brought me into the tarot tube world because I was getting excited about Lenormand and YouTube seemed to be the way to learn more about it and figure it out. And Donna Lee's videos were so useful. If I remember, I will link her in the cards or down below, or both, who knows. but it'll be somewhere. She hasn't made a ton of content recently, but she's got so much good content on her channel that is archived, that is available for you if you're interested in learning Lenormand. It's fantastic. And as a jumping off point from Donna Lee's channel, I also started watching Kelly at The Truth and Story because she had some Lenormand deck reviews or walkthroughs, and so I started watching her a bit. And it kind of spiraled from there. I'm pretty sure it was Donna Lee, Kelly Fitzgerald at The Truth and Story, and Kelly Ann Maddox in some kind of combination. But I'm pretty sure Donna Lee was one of the very, very first. Because, yeah, Lenormand was what brought me into TarotTube. Yeah. What was life before tarot or the holistic path for you? Where did you come from? I've always been incredibly spiritual. I went through a period of time where I was incredibly religious from the Christian perspective, but it never quite, the church life never quite jived with me. I was very much a lover of nature and of being out in the world, and so my way of connecting to deity, even when I was following a Christian path, was very much about being outside and about looking up at the sky, and there were just core things about Christianity that didn't work for me. But that being said, I had an amazing personal relationship with Jesus, and it's kind of funny to talk about that now because I have no, there's no way to say it. I have no hard feelings at all towards Jesus. I have no issues whatsoever with Jesus. I think Jesus is an inspiring person. I think that it's incredibly possible that he had some ability as well, and I don't know how to describe this properly because outside of the context of the dogma of the Christian faith, I think he's a pretty powerful, cool dude. So I've got no issues. My issues were always with the church and some of the dogma associated with the church, and some of the way that people who are followers of the church have behaved, not so much about Christianity as a whole. And so I actually find some things about Christianity very beautiful and inspiring and wonderful, and yeah, I'm in a very different place. There was a period of time when I was very angry at Christianity, but I've come a long way since then. That being said, I will say that of my two sort of spiritual paths, having spent time with Christianity as a young person, and then as an adult being pagan pretty much since I was 19, I do feel like the pagan path has empowered me in ways that Christianity never did. I feel like, and again, that was probably my personal experiences with Christianity. I got no problem with Christianity as a faith, just how some of the people have behaved in some of the dogmatic stuff that I experienced personally. But I think that of the two, I felt much more empowered to carve my own path and develop my own principles and my own ethics and all that kind of stuff through a pagan path. And I found goddess spirituality and goddess connection to be incredibly healing and powerful for me because I have a lot of mother wounds and a lot of issues with mother and older female kind of energy in my life, and I found pagan and goddess work to be really healing and beautiful and empowering for me. So that's what I would say to answer that prompt. Let's see. Favorite go-to spread. Okay, so my favorite is the one I use in Tarot by the Book, which is a week ahead spread or any situation spread, and it's energy, obstacle, advice. So energy is sort of the energy of the current situation or the energy of the upcoming day or the energy of the upcoming week. Obstacles, any problems you might bump up against around that situation or in that week or in that day or however you're using the spread. And then advice gives you some tangible action you can take. I like spreads that give me insight, that give me any warnings I need to know, and that give me tangible advice, something I can do, because I feel empowered then to do something. And sometimes that doing is more about being and how you approach things in your head and stuff, but I really appreciate that. Oh my god, there's more prompts. Okay, I can do this. Let's see. Most anticipated deck of 2020. Oh, I don't really know anymore, to be honest. I've got a really large collection. I don't think there's anything I'm like fiending for. I would love to see the Tarot of Delphi get reprinted. I don't even know if that's coming in 2020. I don't think so, to be honest. And I haven't really heard any murmurings about it at all recently, so no idea. I will be receiving the second edition Mons Tarot that I backed this year, and I'll also be receiving the Star Seeker Tarot, which I'm very excited about. So I guess I could probably say of the ones I'm most anticipating, Star Seeker Tarot is probably the one I'm most excited to be getting, but I've already backed it. So there's that. What's in your tarot wish list? Not a lot. As I mentioned right now, there's not really a lot. I feed for the Tarot of Delphi all the time. I have, let me just actually look and see what's on my wish list here. I actually don't think I have, do I even have my list? Yeah, here it is. Is there anything on here? I would love to get my hands on the Mists of Avalon Oracle. That's one that I've been kind of skirting around. It's out now. It's a Rockpool Publishing Oracle. The Witch's Wisdom Tarot by Phyllis Curott, I'm keeping my eyes out for. I don't know what the artwork's like or what the deck will be like, but I love Phyllis Curott's work in the past, so I'm excited about that. The second edition of the Star Tarot should be borderless and matte, I believe, so I'm looking forward to that. It should be coming soon from Shipper Red Feather. Interested to see what the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle by Priestess Moon is going to be like. Everyday Witch Mini I'm excited about. That's about it, I think, for things that are like right kind of sitting on my wish list. There's a couple others. Whispers from the Ocean Oracle I'm interested in. Anna K. Lenormand I'm interested in. But I'm kind of just slowing my roll for a bit because I've had so much to take in and I've been enjoying sort of deep diving into decks lately. What were your impressions and fears about tarot? I actually didn't have a lot. I was very lucky because my first exposure to tarot was within the context of a pagan group. I didn't go to a fortune teller or anybody where it was like very mystical and mysterious. My first experiences were with people I kind of knew, so there wasn't that fear ever going in. My impressions were that you had to be very woo to be into tarot, and while I'm very woo, I would say now compared to what I came at tarot from a very sort of scientific, logical place initially. And I didn't think that was possible until I started learning it. And I was like, oh, I can logic this out, it's fine. Now since then I've been like, logic plays a small part. The rest of it, I feel like there's a lot of woo in tarot. I feel like I can't deny some of the potency I've experienced in the decades, but yeah. Would you like to start reading tarot? Yes or no? I do read tarot. I read tarot personally. I read tarot professionally over the past couple of years. I really, really have been enjoying working with clients. It's one of the most rewarding things that I do. Have you ever gotten another reading from another reader? Yes, I shared that story in the beginning, but I've had multiple readers. My most recent readings have been from either friends or really trusted readers in and around the tarot community who I feel like I really jive with their ethics or with their approach to tarot. And I love getting readings. I think it's kind of like with anything else. You can read for yourself, but every once in a while I think you need an outside perspective. You need somebody who's coming at it from a place of non-bias as much as possible, and getting readings from other people really fills the need. When I really need good guidance, I go to a trusted reader every time. What kind of vibes do you like to feel when getting a reading? I like it when my nose gets itchy because it usually tells me I'm tapped into my intuition. Don't know why. And I like it when I have the space and opportunity to really flow with my words, which is one of the reasons I like pre-recorded video readings, as well as being in person with somebody, because there's an opportunity for me to just kind of, if there's a little bit of quiet and I can just soak up what the card is trying to tell me or the cards, then I suddenly start talking and then the real intuitive flow starts to come. If it's too distracting, if there's too much waiting back and forth, then sometimes I don't quite get into the flow the same way. So yeah. Tag the next tarot tuber via YouTube or Instagram. You're tagged if you want to do the tag. That's how I like to do tags. But this was really fun to do. Thank you so much to V over at V Love and Crystals for this one. It was really fun to share more about my experiences with tarot with you guys, and to watch everybody's responses to this one has been super, super fun. So thank you so much for that. And that is it for this video. Remember to hit the like button. Comment if you feel like you have something to say. Don't worry about it otherwise. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Remember, you can book a reading with me over at supportivetarot.com. Remember to subscribe if you're new here. Hit the bell if you want to get notified. Sometimes I do sort of spontaneous live chats, so keep an eye out for those. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!